Now that we're right side up, we come to the morning's real activity, walking the bounds at the Museum of False Art. Walking the bounds is an old, I believe, Saxon tradition of regularly patrolling, or at least walking along, the limits of your property. It's very good for spotting threats, nascent threats. I'd recommend, for example, farmers whose farms are near developed areas to do this. Anyway, here we are, our poor, sad roof sculpture. Since we did our roof over entirely, we had to transplant it here in the field. We're by our 3 witch hazel bushes, planted quite deliberately. You can see they seem to be of 2 different varieties. They have slightly different cycles throughout the year. Unfortunately, none of the cycles has what I was looking for, these wonderful stringy blossoms that come, I think, in the spring and the fall. But they're very nice anyway. Now here's something interesting. A pile of rocks. But we had our chimney replaced, and these some 2 ton of rocks were taken down off of the old chimney. For reference, I can show you that it's a dull old modern chimney now, but works very well. Anyway, we asked them to save the rocks, and I see he's the fellow who brought them over put them in a rough circle, I think. Interesting. Probably his arms got tired, otherwise he'd have built a cairn. Here's the flat part with a great, tremendously thick piece of slate that was on top of the chimney all those years. Can you imagine putting something like this on your roof? Here's the well site, as unfindable as ever. Oh, I think it's over here. Yeah, within this arc. Down there is our well. Now we come to a piece of newly discovered minimalist landscaping. Looks like the remains of an old wall. So whether it is really of ancient vintage or just something my father built, more likely the latter. But it really doesn't matter, because the subject is minimalist landscaping. How tall does the wall have to be before you'll believe it's a wall and feel like you have a nice wall in your front yard? Now, whoever constructed this wall, whether deliberately or modified over time, or both, obviously was of the minimalist school. You could almost make just a path of rocks, but that wouldn't really make you visualize the 3rd dimension. However, this wall does, you can see, have something of a 3rd dimension, though not much. Here a tree is considerately fallen right over a barren spot, and the wall picks up again over here. Well, well, well. Here we go. Wow, I hadn't realized there's remains of that wall-like structure over here. I guess when you use it of big enough rocks, nobody's going to feel like moving it in a very short time. Here we are, the back way, entering the M.O.F.A Sculpture Park. Here's where we're hoping the great mysterious tree house will reappear. Oh, maybe it's starting to reappear. Last year's October picture for the calendar had a visual illusion of a house in the trees there. So far, it has not reappeared. Here's the tree that was aiming for my house but was too short. The last hurricane. Of course, the bigger one there actually hit it, but only a glancing blow. This basin here was actually the old cesspool. The ground is still a little soft. The surviving lilac bush. The surviving squirrel. And a nice back entrance to the park. Oh, interesting. Mike doesn't approve. This is one of our longest standing sculptures, which was kept inside at the museum. But in our recent remodeling, we had to move it outside. And Mike has a short way with sculptures he doesn't like. He just knocks them down right away. And then we put them somewhere else. Now this is looking more and more like a Chinese character. It was named that, but it never really looked quite like it before. Oh, these two combatants are sinking slowly down towards the ground. Very dramatic. Ah, the James Velvet Memorial is still standing. I never felt that this was in very securely, but obviously Mike likes it, so it stays up. The actual bounds are along this tree line, I think. You can see year by year we lose a few more of these trees. But once they were a nice line all the way up this way. And it was a driveway shared by us and the people next door, where that water company pumping station is now. And there, in the early parts of the 20th century, was a place of some notoriety called the Derby Falls Inn. Way out of town at that time. Our stone wall is long since behind us. Although wait, more stones are up here. Maybe that part is just buried under the ground. Yeah, these are definitely in a wall-like shape. Down here is actually a very artistic retaining wall, cemented and all, covered up at this part mostly. However, rising up here, where you can see it was built like a medieval fortification. Maybe even a Dark Ages fortification. See, there it is. Forgive me if I don't really feel like jumping down there at the moment. We're right underneath the billboard sign. One of our greatest contributors. Still some sign. Is the rock wall? No, not really. But anyway, now we're up by the road. As we come to our mailbox, due north. We come to the end of the first half of Walking the Bounds at the museum. False.